People in France are working to make sure American soldiers killed during World War II are honored and remembered. The 45th Infantry Thunderbirds played a key role in liberating much of eastern France.
So a group from Oklahoma's 45th was invited to attend Liberation Day ceremonies in several French towns and villages. Photojournalist Michael Woods and I went along for a special two-part Oklahoma's Own original. Epinal is in northeastern France, not far from Germany. The town of 35,000 people is known for art and history, like the 11th century Basilica of St. Maurice. Epinal is a place where medieval mixes with modern. Just a few miles from the shops and restaurants in the city center, the revelry is replaced with reverence. For a Liberation Day ceremony at the American Cemetery in Epinal. With members of the French military at attention and a large crowd, dignitaries laid wreaths to honor the U.S. soldiers buried here and played America's national anthem. A group from Oklahoma's 45th Infantry is among those honoring the Americans who never made it home.
Peaceful.
Colonel Brad Carter is the Assistant Adjutant General for the Oklahoma National Guard. He's been to the American Cemetery in Epinal before, but each visit is moving.
We serve so that we don't have to put more of these white crosses in the soil.
The 5,252 white marble crosses at the American Cemetery in Epinal each prove freedom isn't free.
This is just a fraction of those that sacrificed and gave everything.
Turner Holloway from Hughes County, Oklahoma, left behind a young wife named Eva. Clarence Abney from Stratford was one of 11 children. His young wife, Thelma, would never get to grow old with him. Harold Bunstein and James Clonch were teachers. Orville Eaton, a student. They each left the classroom for the battlefield.
The young have to realize that freedom has a price. And these men over there, they paid with their blood, you know.
Leaders in France invited the group from Oklahoma to take part in Liberation Day ceremonies, not just at the American Cemetery, but also several other French towns and villages. Each has its own Liberation Day, its own events to say thank you.
It's completely the biggest honor I could ever ask for.
The liberation of the Americans, we came from so far away to save us.
One event honors a lone American soldier from the 45th buried along a rural road in eastern France. Locals have never missed a year honoring him. The small village of Hoddle unveiled a sign honoring members of the 45th.
Everywhere we've gone, everybody's been so appreciative and thankful of the 45th.
On the trip, the Oklahomans are giving away 45th Infantry flags, pins, and coins.
This is for you.
Thank you.
Nearly 80 years ago, many gave their lives.
These young Thunderbirds, like the other young soldiers there, had a life, had loved ones. They gave up careers, they gave up dreams.
And the Thunderbirds played a key role in liberating southern and eastern France. Before coming here to France, the 45th Infantry fought its way through Sicily, then Italy, at places like Anzio and Salerno, and experienced heavy fighting. They then led a huge invasionary force into southern France. The 45th inflicted heavy casualties on the Nazis. The fighting got more fierce the closer the Americans got to Germany. Although Nazis controlled the entire region, the 45th crossed the Moselle River into Epinal. And soldiers fought building to building for days to clear the town. Denise Neal is the director of the 45th Infantry Museum in Oklahoma.
It's a story that not very many people know. Most people know the landings of Normandy or they know the Battle of the Bulge, and it's such an important story to tell.
The French people have a deep gratitude for American soldiers who liberated them. During that time here in France, people were suffering terribly under the rule of Nazi Germany. So Liberation Day, of course, was a joyous event and celebrated, and all these years later, it's still very special. And it's why the French are so steadfast in their appreciation for those who fought and bled and died. Many were so young. 18-year-old Lynn Milner was from Pontotoc County. Carl Barnett from Ardmore was only 19. Gerald Harp from Shawnee was a high school football star who married his high school sweetheart, Peggy. He was killed at 21 on his first day of combat.
My mom was never the same.
Diana Fleming was only 18 months old when her dad was killed in action. 5,000 miles from Epinal at her home in Asher, Oklahoma, Fleming shares what family members have told her about her dad and reads from a more than 70-year-old letter written in pencil from a fellow soldier describing her dad and how he was killed by a mine while trying to save injured soldiers.
Everyone in our outfit liked Gerald as a staunch friend. Sorry. And a gallant buddy, and we join you in your grief.
78 years after his death, Fleming says because she never really knew her dad, she doesn't miss him,
I'm proud of him.
but she missed out on him.
But I would give anything to have known him.
If she could talk to her dad, she'd tell him about his grandkids, that she's had a good life, and that she's proud of him.
Someday, I'm going to meet him.
The group from Oklahoma laid a wreath at Gerald Harp's grave in France.
Gerald is not forgotten.
And neither are the others, who fought for villages they'd never heard of and died so freedom-loving people could live in peace.
War should not be taken lightly. I mean, this is the cost.
We have got to continue telling the story.
Tomorrow night, I'll introduce you to a remarkable woman we met in France who works tirelessly to make sure American soldiers at the American Cemetery are recognized and honored.